Happy Friday evening. I'm just sitting here thinking about a cliche that says there has to come a time. There has to come a time when my people will stand up together and say no more. A time where we'll say no more to allowing society, due to systemic racism, make our kids cry, make our kids feel as if they're inferior to others, make our kids hold their heads down. Because as Whitney Houston sings, I believe children are our future. Teach them well, and they will lead the way. But right now, the future doesn't look too bright for our Black children. You know, there's too many divisions within the Black community. We have one group doing this, one group doing that, yet we have a problem of putting it all together and standing as a force. You know what? A lot of times people say we should get over it and what have you. I think sometimes they tell us to get over slavery, get over the ongoing systemic racism and the discrimination. They say it because we do nothing about it. Nothing about it together as a unified people. Did you know that it is not only our ethnic group that has faced serious systemic racism? I'll tell you, the very first law that was passed against drugs here in Canada had to do with the Japanese community. It was because of opioids. The government feared that they would make so much money, so they didn't put a stop to opioids by creating a law because they were concerned about Canadians getting addicted to opioids. They put that law out there to stop the Japanese from getting richer and richer and richer. But today, where are the Japanese people? We don't see Japanese youths getting shot by the police. We don't see Japanese youths pointing pistols at each other and helping to depopulate our race. Where are they? They have their own banks, their own restaurants, their own communities, and they're happy, thriving together within their community alone. And we don't see them on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook degrading each other and putting each other down. Then we have the indigenous who had a whole generation wiped out so that the dominant ethnic group in North America could claim and rename their land, because this country is rightfully called Kanata, not Canada. It's Kanata. Although that they had these people banished to these reserves and what have you, and they're not up in the government making decisions on their land, they still find a way to unite and live together on those reserves. We don't hear about them killing each other or fighting each other. We don't see them on TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram tearing each other down and refusing to stand together. They made it clear that they were not going to continue to accept unfair treatment from the Canadian government. And it wasn't only one Micmac Indian or only one Métis, only one Ojibwe. They stood together. They didn't mind whose skin was darker, who's making more money, for the sake of their indigenous children's future. They stood together. And then we have our Jewish community. We know what they've been through. And who are they today? They are a powerful force. If you touch or violate even one child from their community, we're seeing it on the news and they're saying loud, we ain't accepting that you touch a hair on the head of one of our children. Yet the parents of black children, they post so much, and I don't see anyone from our community hitting the reshare button. They're not going to put it on the news that policemen are going into the Durham Peel Catholic School Board schools and arresting 6 year olds, expelling black kids for nothing. Yes, Canadian white teachers calling our black children, they're not teens, they're kids, derogatory names. It's just not scattered all over the news the way Shiloh Hendricks was. It's happening right here in Canada. And so it leads me to just one question. What are we, as the Black elders in this Canadian community, what are we going to do? See, a lot of us will post and say, oh, this is not fair, but what are we doing about it? It's one thing to know, like G.I. Joe said, knowing is half the battle. The other half is doing something about it. And I think this message has been communicated a million times. It's like a broken record. Nothing can be done if we continue to live apart because we cannot fight alone. There's so many of us here in Canada, yet so many stand alone in the eyes of injustice. Now, nobody's begging and pleading for that petition sitting there on the website of the House of Commons. It takes 500 signatures to have that petition passed in the House of Parliament. Now, either the majority of us like where we sit in terms of value, integrity, and rights because we're sitting lower than low. And it's up to us as a people to join together and put a stop to it. If not for yourselves, do it for your children. As Whitney Houston said, children are the future. And when we grow old, if our children are not taught some kind of value, some kind of resistance and resilience in the eyes of racism and injustice, what's going to happen to us when we are old and feeble? Once a man, twice a child. Look out for the future. Look out for the kids. The only way that we can restrain the heartless is through the law. Before I go, Martin Luther King said, yes, the law cannot change the heart of a man, but the law can restrain the heartless. And it is up to me and it is up to you to stand up together and make a difference. You done know. It's not about being a hero. Most of our black heroes became heroes when they were dead. How about we all be heroes together and show the Canadian government that we are standing together for the sake of our 6 year old children getting arrested just because of the color of their skin.